What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. Today is a very cool day indeed. We have a brand new update to the factory bikes in the game. So what I've done is I'm hopping on my trusty Suzuki 450. It's got to be my favorite factory bike just in terms of like the visuals. I think it looks really cool. But to quickly go through before I start spinning laps and probably wadding myself because I am loading up the game cold today. In terms of the adjustments that have been made to this, there's been some tyre changes, so that involves the traction. There has been some front end adjustments to stop the front ends being quite so tucky, I believe, because I think that was the biggest kind of downfall for these bikes, for me at least, is I enjoyed how light they were. I enjoyed how they handled everywhere through braking bumps and jumping and just the maneuverability in the air. But it was the front end was quite just very loose, and I found it tucking quite often in turns. So they've made some adjustments to the front end, just various suspension updates as well, which probably goes hand in hand with that front end tucking. There's been some model changes. Now, hasn't gone too far in depth into exactly what that entails. However, I believe some of it involves kind of like the hitboxes on things like the pegs and the swing arm and the forks. So before, if you're kind of going around a flat turn and you kind of hear that like scraping sound and that's just the bike colliding with the ground. What that also does is that is another contributing factor to any like front end tucks. If the fork kind of digs in the ground, it will rip your handlebars to the side. So some changes to that as well. And then the only other final note is this is the final test before the full 1.0 release of the bike. So very cool stuff. And I've made no changes to this setup, by the way. This is as stock as it comes. I am running the, I think it's spec 80 front tyre and spec 120 rear. Those are the only changes that I've done, and it's just, I believe the spec just has way more traction than the standard mid-soft, so that's why I've done it. You will see, as I was going through those whoops just then, tracked through it really easily, which is something that I've been struggling with on the OEM bikes at the moment. So let's go into first person, and we're going to spin some laps and see how she rides. My plan is to do some laps on the Supercross track here. We've got, this is the combined aerial 1 and 2 together, so it kind of goes back and forth across itself. And then after this, I'll try and find probably one of the GP tracks, to be honest, either GP or the AMA tracks, just to see how it feels. They're tracks I have a little bit of experience on these bikes overall, so it'll be interesting to see a comparison there. Straight away, I don't want to do this whole OEM versus factory debate, because I think by this point we can all agree that some people prefer one set, some people prefer another. They both have pros and cons on either side, and it's all about what you enjoy at the end of the day. But the only comment I will make is straight away, you can feel like the OEM, I think it's because of the whole medium tyre situation we've got going on at the moment on the OEM bikes. But the OEM bikes have a lot more grip. Like, you can feel the back end on this wanting to spin on you if you get on the power. But I feel like it doesn't like slide out and then you're just a passenger. You know, you can control the slides, you can steer with the back end if you need to. So that's good. That's a positive thing. And just reading through like their notes and their change logs, oh my, that just annihilated the whoops. I've made no suspension changes, so this is just stock as she comes. Yeah, with in the notes they said they wanted to have the ability to cut down in 180 turns if you wanted to, and try and pass people rather than having to rail the entirety of the corner, which I imagine is a very difficult thing to do, because since MX bikes has been a thing, the fastest way around the track is to not let off the throttle and rail every corner as hard as possible. There's no, there's not much, I guess, finesse. Please! For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15, fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe. It's not really much finesse that's needed in playing this game. It is just who can hold it on the longest, unless you get into some very like deep, skinny, like, or narrow ruts. So someone brought me up on that the other day. I was playing the Monster Valley track, and where all the ruts are quite tight and close together. Apparently the word narrow ruts isn't really a thing. I was asked, the rut is narrower. It's more of like a tyre width rather than an entire bike width. So I just wasn't sure on that. I don't know if that was just a language barrier thing between the old UK and the Americans. It be what it be. I want to give you guys a little update as well whilst I'm spinning some laps, trying to get comfortable on this bike. We are currently on day 2 of the gym grind. I went last night, so That is the biggest thing, is actually just going. And it was a push day. It was a push day, so it was things like bench, you know, like overhead shoulder press, tricep pull downs, etc. Which is like, did you call them pull downs or push downs? Because for me, a pull day or a push day, like tricep push downs or tricep pull downs, I think they're kind of both the same thing. But yeah, it's the movement of actually pushing them down, extending your arms out so you activate your triceps. But yeah, all that standard push day yesterday. And I will admit, I didn't feel like I went too hard. I didn't want to go silly. I wanted to, you know, just first day back in the gym, wanted to just get a decent workout in and not try and go stupid on the weights, try and find where my starting point is again so that I can get, say, a good 8 to 10 reps, and then that would be my failure point with whatever weight I was using. And I woke up this morning and my left arm is feeling a little bit on the sore side, a little bit tendonitis-y, which is a bit weird after just doing one gym session. But it has 2 days rest. You know, today is going to be a pull day, and then tomorrow will be legs, so on and so forth. So it has some time to recover there. But it was good stuff. It was really, really nice. And gym was fairly quiet as well. I suppose, I don't know if everyone's now in like winter mode. It's so cold in the UK right now. To be not as cold as probably some places in the world, so don't laugh at me when you hear this, but it's like -1, -2 degrees Celsius when I'm waking up in the morning. I'm not doing the conversion. I have no idea what that is in freedom units, as always. But yeah, bloody cold. I will say that much. So that's why people are choosing to stay at home, hibernate a little bit. But it's really, really good. And if anyone was unaware now, in my Discord, I've now made a channel called Gym Progress, which is not just for me. It's for a bunch of you guys as well to, if you wanted to make some improvements to yourself or start going to the gym and just work on your overall health, that is the place to do so. Got a couple of people in there already just like believing what workouts they've been doing, and other people saying that this is kind of motivating them to try and get into the gym a little bit as well. So we're all going to be one big, happy, slightly fluffy, around the edges family, and we're all going to do some working out together, and then hopefully come like summertime next year, we'll all be living our best lives, going to the beach, picking up all the ladies. Not me. I'm a committed man at this point. But you guys might be able to go and pick up some of the ladies at the beach. Right, so enough waffling about the gym. I would like to talk about these bikes because they feel very, very forgiving. Like the suspension feels very plush. There's no harshness to the rhythms. If I come up like a bit short like that, it soaks up pretty damn well. I'm not getting kicked all over the place. It absolutely munches the whoops. Like I don't have to do anything really. I can just kind of hold right trigger down and it soaks them up really, really well. The traction is a bit slippery. I feel like it's slipperier than what it used to be. That is just down to personal feel. Of course, there is no note that says 100% yes, it is slipperier, 100% no, it's got more traction. It just says there has been some tyre tweaks. And I probably could have asked the boys kind of all the finer details on it, but I like approaching this from, I guess, more of a consumer perspective, same as you guys, where you just get to download the bikes and hop on the game and ride them, rather than having all this like internal intel. But they have said that further kind of notes and what exactly they've changed will be coming in the near future. So far we've got the changelog on MXB mods to show us what's different, and then other than that, they're just going to update us as time comes. But I'm quite impressed on this so far. It feels very easy to ride, feels very natural. The bike kind of does what you expect it to do, which is always a good thing. And obviously on a 450, you've got a lot of power at your fingertips. So I think it makes sense if we can't just bang down the right trigger or put on the throttle super, super hard and get away with it. There needs to be a little bit of spin there. So I'm not against the slightly lowered traction. But if you roll on the throttle well, coming out the corners, you can still feel like the high acceleration that the bike's got. So if you manage to keep that back wheel tracking, you can probably hit some quite big rhythms coming out the corners. And I'm not having to put much effort or like kind of rider movement into getting through these rhythm sections clean. It's just like smooth throttle inputs, try and downside the jumps as smoothly as you can. Let me try blitzing these, and it's just, look at that. It hits every single one really, really nice and smoothly. I'm not sure if I'd be able to triple out of this corner just because of the speed. I feel like that might be an OEM specific line. Let me see. I'll give it one attempt to see how it feels, but I feel like I'll probably just slide coming out the corner and then bop off that. Oh, it soaks it up quite well. So I think to make a line like that, you probably are going to have to make some suspension changes, because right now it feels is like squishy the right word? Like it feels like it soaks everything up really well. and maybe soaks things up a little bit too well for Supercross, but that's why you get a Supercross setup and you get a National setup. And right now, I feel like I'm probably slap bang in the middle. I'm as stock as it comes, and I feel like Supercross, it just feels very straightforward. No effort through the whoops. Corners feel nice and smooth. Like triples into rhythm sections feel fairly easy. So definitely, it definitely feels nice. I'll be honest, it's been a hot minute since I've rode factory bikes, where I've been grinding out the OEMs ahead of the Aerial Supercross season. So I couldn't tell you, like off the top of my head, exactly how it differs from the last ones in terms of feel. But all I can tell you is they feel good. They really do. So definitely go and give them a shout. I am going to try and find a rough Nationals track, I think, because we can't just be one-dimensional. We can't just test it on Supercross and say it feels good. We need to take it outdoors as well. So with the power of editing, I will be right back. Right, so for the sake of consistency, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, where I'm just changing the tyres and everything else is going to be left like completely stock, not touching it at all. Just going to save that with a random bunch of letters, as we always do. And the track that I've chosen for this is the MXGP of Turkey in the last year's GP season. Reason being is I feel like this track's got a bit of everything. It's got some like little choppy braking bumps. It has a roller section as well, so we'll see how it handles both types of roughness. There's some corners where it's got some slow ruts, some tight ones where it's quite easy for the front end to get caught on the inside and roll out. And it's got some wide open sections and some big jumps. So I feel like the track kind of covers everything. So we're going to see how the bike feels. Very smooth in the air. Okay. I'm going to take my usual lines. I don't want to kind of mix things up too much. I want some of my muscle memory to still be kicking in, and then hopefully the bike kind of does what I want it to do naturally without too much external input. And I'm not sure what it is. Like, it feels a little bit heavier than it did. That could be completely placebo. I'm open for people telling me that I'm wrong on that, because this is purely, again, just based on how it feels out of the box. It feels a little bit heavier, but what that does in the air is feels like it gives you a little bit more stability. I feel like before it was so light that you could almost whip twice in the air, whereas it feels a little bit more sturdy now, a little bit more planted, and definitely it feels like a 450. It feels a little bit more beefy. It's just these bumps feel like they're not there. Like the suspension is actually insane. Like, can I hit this triple? Hit the big send? Yee. Oh, I've actually overjumped it a little bit. Took the hard landing like a champ as well. Like the front end, I don't think I've seen the front end like tweak or the front end twist once yet. But it's just taking absolutely everything. I feel like I want to try and go a little bit silly and see just how far I can push it. And you can see here, you can steer with the back end on the flat ground, which is really, really cool. Usually, I would expect to get away with that on OEM bikes, but again, that is with medium tyres. I don't think the same could be said on like the mid-soft ones. So I do think that once the OEM update comes, I believe they're going to do a tyre update at some point. I think the traction values will actually be very, very similar to one another, which will make kind of switching back and forth between the two bikes much, much easier, because a lot of muscle memory does come into play, and it's quite difficult going from, oh my, that was on me, just completely overshot that corner. A lot of the muscle memory makes it hard to switch from one bike to the other, because like, if you're used to playing the game a certain way, and then you go on to something completely different, you are going to have to make changes. You know, you can't press exactly the same button inputs on differently made bikes and expect to get the same outcome. But I do like we're at this point now where we have a choice between two pretty damn solid like options. So very good stuff. I think it's healthy for the game as well. I did notice, I mean, speaking of the game's health, this is a little bit off topic, but I think Aiden posted in the Daddy Daycare Discord the other day that MX Bikes had a big old drop-off in player numbers in the last month. It was going from about 1,900 to, I think it went 1,400, and it was like, damn, 500 people stopped playing. Is MX Bikes like dying? I was like, no, Fortnite and Call of Duty have come out in the same month, so that's probably why people will be going and playing those games. I know Fortnite is for a slightly younger audience than myself, and I know this game does have quite a young community in general. That is a generalization. That's not me saying that every single one of you watching this is a Fortnite kid, even though some of you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can play whichever game you enjoy playing, but that's probably why MX Bikes hasn't got much love at the moment. You know, we're in the off season. OG Fortnite's come out, Call of Duty's like newest release has come out, which I've actually been quite enjoying at the moment. I'm not sure what it is. Like, I feel like the actual gunplay, like, it is fun in that game. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just having a good time on it, and I'm not overdoing it with like the camo grinding like I have done in years past, so I've not burnt myself out yet. I just hop on for like an hour or so every night or every other night, and it's really, really good fun. So I actually plan on fully completing all camos at some point in this game. Once I'm done with the multiplayer stuff, I'll move over to the zombies stuff, and really, really enjoyable. So, I mean, if you was hesitant on getting the new Modern Warfare 3, then you need some sort of like external opinion, then there you go. There's mine on the matter. But yeah, I feel like that's why MX Bikes at the moment's player base is a little bit on the lower side than what we're used to seeing. And there's just a few factors to that. Is those 2 new games coming out, as well as us being in the off-season before Supercross. You'll probably find come like Christmas time, just after Christmas, you'll probably find the numbers start going up again when people are then in grind mode ahead of the Supercross season. And I'm excited for it. I really, really am. I think it's probably going to be our biggest and hopefully best Supercross season to date, with lots and lots of fast riders. The amount of people, so when I hop into random online lobbies now, if I just want to do a little bit of Supercross practice, like if Charlie hops on and he wants to ride around, the amount of people that I can hand on heart say that I have never heard of or seen play this game before, that are laying down absolute burner lap times on the Supercross track, it's actually ridiculous. So I'm a little bit nervous. I can't lie to you. I'm a bit nervous for the indoor season. I think there's going to be a lot of good competition there. So hopefully it should make the racing fun. It should make the live streams fun, because I do plan on live streaming each and every round again. And inside sources are telling me this isn't set in stone, because there has been no official announcement with the rules yet. So I could be completely wrong. Take this all with a pinch of salt. Apparently, so there was rumours of there being locked coasts or locked regions before. So let's say you're doing 450 in EU, you can't then go and do 450 in NA. Just probably to help there not being the same champion in both series. But I'm not sure if that would even be a thing now. I heard that Skills is kind of hanging up the boots a little bit. Not sure what that's all about, or if that's just a rumour, but I'm not sure if Skills will be joining us for Super. But yeah, apparently it's going to be a case of, if you ride 450 EU, you can't do 450 NA, but you could do 250 NA. So maybe? Question mark? I could do that. I could give it a go. I did try 250s last year in NA for a little bit and ended up rage quitting the series because I just couldn't hang. Like the people, I don't want to like generalize a certain type of person, but the younger audience of the game that seem to grind out the 250s in the NA side of things, they are animals at this game. They are very, very fast humans, and I just couldn't keep up. And bearing in mind that it's kind of going on like 3, 4 a.m. when I'm doing these races, it's very easy to get quite agitated, maybe, or angry when things aren't going your way at that time. So we'll see. We'll see if I can bring myself to do it. I kind of want to get a good daily pattern going again, so I have a set time of the day where I record a video, I have a set time of the day where I go to the gym, and so on and so forth, because I feel like I need some structure in my life. Otherwise I just end up lounging around all day, procrastinating, not doing what I'm meant to do, and I don't want to do that. I like having a little bit of structure to my day. And already, since I went to the gym last night, I set my alarm for 9 a.m. today. But I woke up at 11 a.m. because somehow I slept for like 9 or 10 hours, which I really didn't expect. But I guess I've actually used some energy for once, so my body wanted to recover from it. So sleep's already better after one day of going to the gym. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that a little bit of exercise and eating the right things and drinking enough water would actually be good for your body? Could never be me. But I would just want to wrap up this video at this point. You've seen it on the Supercross side. You've seen it on the outdoor side. I actually would like to challenge people with the opinion that I don't think these bikes are faster than the OEM bikes, at least in the OEM's current state with the medium tyre situation. So for everyone that I do see saying, oh, you know, the factory bikes are far too easy, it's too easy to go fast, I actually think the OEMs right now are faster, which is odd because I feel like the suspension on this factory bike right now is so much better than what I've ridden on the OEM side, but I don't really practice suspensions at all, so I don't know. I don't know what opinion to come with it as. I'm quite happy in being a middleman now at this point. I'm quite happy staying neutral, and I feel like both bikes are just quite enjoyable. You know, I finally got over that hurdle of getting used to the OEMs and how they handle, and now I actually enjoy them. I've always enjoyed the factory bikes handling, and I'm pretty sure they've fixed 99% of the front end issues that I was having on these, because I don't think I've crashed from a front end tuck yet. So W, I guess they've done what they set out to do, and whatever, all of the changes that happen behind the scenes, because I know there's a hell of a lot of time and effort that goes into these things, they've done a very, very good job. So definitely go and check them out. Let me know if you've been enjoying these, if you've had a chance to use them already. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to love you and leave you now. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That'll be it. You can lay there for the rest of the video. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.